Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Donovan White, who is Director of Tourism for Visit Jamaica. And we're going to talk to Donovan about Jamaica and its tourism, which actually just started to open up a few days ago. So it's good news for Jamaica, and we're going to find out all about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Donovan, first of all, can you give us first of all, where are you? You're in your office, you told me, right?
I'm in my office in Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay,
Warm
okay.
and tropical as always.
That's perfect. And I'm in my home office up here in Westchester County. Not tropical at all. So that's not. Can we, if we can switch, that would be great.
All right,
Um,
come on down.
I will. I will. Now, give us an update if you can, and I know you can, of how Jamaica was hit by the COVID-19 crisis and how the country has dealt with it.
Interestingly, we closed our borders fairly early. Our borders were closed March 21st,
Right.
and we had before even closing our borders, we had begun the process of closing our borders to some countries earlier than March 21st. But we went into complete lockdown on March 21st. That has meant, for the first time ever in our history, we have had literally no visitors, zero visitors between March 22nd and when we reopened our borders to visit us for the first time, June 15th. That has been unprecedented. It has never happened in all our history.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the worst of times of hurricanes and other disaster and other disruptions that has happened across the world, we've never had a situation where our borders are closed and there's zero entries. What that has done or has meant from an economic standpoint is, we now have to recover from a negative 1.7% growth to our GDP in the first quarter of 2020. And, our Planning Institute has already issued a negative 10 to 12% growth to the same GDP over the second quarter of 2020. That also ties into the relevance and importance of tourism to our economy. Tourism provides some 50 to 60% of our foreign exchange earnings, 9% direct to our GDP. If you add our indirect and induced earnings from tourism, it adds a further 33% to our GDP contribution. There's 170 workers who are directly employed to the industry. When you add the indirect employees, it's probably about 320, 330,000 workers who are impacted, and probably about 90% of those lost their jobs or were furloughed
Wow.
during the lockdown. So the significance of the economic fallout to lives and livelihoods has been tremendous. And so, we have to continue to manage those fallouts. The government has been particularly focused on the workers of the industry and of Jamaica in terms of providing the necessary stimulus for them to have some kind of income replacement during the period of lockdown. So it's been a journey, through some very tough times of a pandemic, and we are beginning to break the seal and let the light in again.
Yeah, no, and indeed, last week I believe you did announce sort of the initial stages of reopening. Where are you now in that reopening process?
We have actually reopened. On June 15th, we restarted the arrival of non-nationals to Jamaica, which are typically tourists, travelers. We have instituted a number of processes to do this safely and responsibly. We have, through the Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett's vision, have instituted what we have termed a COVID-19 resilient corridor. And what that is, it has taken the northern coast of Jamaica and built it into a corridor between Negril and Port Antonio. And only accommodations in the first phase of our opening, only the accommodation sector, which is hotels, villas, that are going to be opened within that corridor. And so all visitors coming into the island has to stay within that corridor whilst they're in Jamaica. What it does is it works into the overarching methodology that our health ministry has implemented throughout the management of COVID, which is a risk-based methodology, which is to identify where there are risks, contain it, manage it, and ensure that you don't have spread or community spread. We've been able to successfully do that across Jamaica. Through this pandemic, we have only had 617 cases.
Wow,
if
that's
you ask me, 617 too many, but 617 cases. We've had 10 deaths, and we've had almost 70%, 65% recovery rate of those 617 cases. So we've been doing extremely well and in flattening the curve of the spread of the virus. And we believe a combination of that, a combination of the protocols that we have put in place, together with changing our whole process of how people travel to Jamaica from before you leave your gateway to when you arrive in Jamaica. We have instituted a process that every traveler to Jamaica must now follow. And that has enabled us to at least understand or have some kind of medical profile of everybody coming in relation to COVID, and enabled our streamlining of making our processes more technology driven, so that we can simplify people's arrival process and hopefully with time make that process move faster.
No, that's great. And just to be clarified, it's coming from the U.S. and North America. Can I go to Jamaica now and stay at a resort?
Yes, you can. So the process is when you're flying to Jamaica, within 72 hours of your travel date, you have to go to visitjamaica.com and you must complete your travel authorization documentation. It is a simple form that takes about 3 to 5 minutes to complete. It asks you about 4 or 5 questions that are health related, specific to COVID-19 and your personal situation with COVID-19. It includes the completion of our immigration and customs documentation. That's submitted. You get, and as long as you're approved, your response is instantaneous. You get a travel authorization, a single page document, which you can either save to your mobile phone or keep on your email. It will be, you'll have to present that to your airline on checking in, because they won't check you in without it coming to Jamaica. You will need it when you land in Jamaica for immigration, and you're screened here by your health officials on arrival. And you're also tested for COVID-19, which is a PCR nasal swab test. And then you go off to your hotel, which you would have pre-selected in your application. And you are notified of your test results within 24 to 48 hours.
And then if it turns out positive, what happens?
If you're positive, part of our protocols is that all of our hotels now have to provide a isolation part of their hotel, some rooms in their hotel stock that are for isolation purposes. So the first place is that the on-call or on-site medical professional at the hospital, the hotel will inform you and will ask you to become isolated in the hotel. And then the communication between that health official, yourself, and the public health department of Jamaica will ensue from there. And depending on the level of risk that you present within the environment, you may continue to be quarantined, or rather isolated at the hotel, or be isolated in a designated isolation facility in Jamaica. If you're negative, then you continue to enjoy your time in Jamaica at your hotel.
Mm-hmm. Now, what will change? Will this all be long term, or well, obviously, if there's a vaccine or something? But do you think these protocols will be enforced for a number of months, well into next year?
Well, until there's a vaccine that enables the world to inoculate itself against the virus long term, there are always going to be risks, with the virus as the way this one is, and so we have to continue to review those protocols and make sure that they are delivering what was intended, which is a safe and responsible approach to reopening the tourism industry. And of course, not just the tourism industry, but also providing safety to every Jamaican here at home, so that we prevent the spread of the virus in our communities. So we expect that these protocols will remain in place, and we will continue to massage them and to make them more nuanced to changes and to new learnings as we find new things, or we learn new things from other destinations and from other places. We have made them flexible enough that we will review them every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, much like we have to, as a country, review our disaster orders, which
Right.
which the Prime Minister does every 2 weeks. So things will change, evolve and change almost on a 2-week basis. But what we have done and will continue to do is to continue to keep our partners, whether here at home or abroad, completely involved and engaged in a process of communication that allow them to know well in advance when we are going to make changes, what those changes are, and how they're likely to impact them.
Yeah. Now, we talk about airlines. Are you seeing more flights, or even airlines planning more flights this summer?
The airlines have had a very interesting approach to reopening destinations. They have, all the major airlines out the United States have committed to flying to Jamaica. Currently, we have American, JetBlue, Delta, all providing services as of June 1. American started on June 15th. Southwest and United will come on board in July. And obviously they are flying the number of rotations that meet the level of demand that they're seeing in their space. We expect that will continue to evolve and grow as the demand comes back for travel. I figure, we've looked at the numbers, and we figure that as persons begin to head into summer and looking for things to do and places to go and to take their families away on a vacation, having been in lockdown for the last several months, we expect that summer, as it rolls around now and head into July and August, will have some pickup. But I must say this, we don't expect or see a V recovery of tourism at all. In fact, what we see is a very much a U-shaped, but an extended U-shape on the right-hand side of that U, right, heading out into 2020, late 21, 22, maybe even into 23, before we begin to get back to similar levels of demand, air capacity, as well as passengers that existed pre-COVID. So we understand that this is a journey, and the journey starts now. And what is most important is that we provide the level of assurance to both travelers as well as to our industry at home that what we're doing it in a very safe and a very responsible way. And that if we continue to take the right steps and stay true to them, we should be able to manage the risk as we have been able to do through our health officials since the start of this pandemic.
Now, what kind of marketing have you engaged in during this crisis? I know a lot of people have done this virtual experience, and I know I've seen some of that from Jamaica.
Right.
What have you been doing to kind of keep your destination top of mind among both U.S. travelers and obviously U.S. travel advisors?
Yeah, our marketing teams have been on the ball and phenomenal through this process. In fact, they haven't rested a day because we've remained engaged. We've been one of the few destinations that have truly remained engaged with audiences across the world. We started out like most other DMOs, empathizing with the pandemic and understanding that people were going through a very rough time in some very big places. But soon what we got from the marketplace was people wanted to know what was happening. People wanted to feel some level of engagement, having been locked down at home. They're bored, they're frustrated, they have nothing to do. And so what we did was we created a series of engagement tactic that we'd use digitally. We created recipes. Persons wanted to cook Jamaican at home. They wanted to listen to Jamaican music. We created a Jamaican playlist. We created Jamaican parties online. We did yoga sessions. We did virtual tours of the destination. We did so many activations virtually that allowed persons from around the world who have either been to Jamaica many times before or dreaming of somewhere to go when first chance they get to get out of lockdown. And so that enabled us to continue to communicate, continue to engage, to get feedback. And we are now going into another phase where we are looking to inspire those persons who are looking for places to go and things to do for the summer, for the fall, for next winter. That we want them to at least consider Jamaica, and we think we're doing a pretty good job of ensuring that we remain engaged, remain in the conversation, and continue to be that thought leader in the travel industry. Our minister coined a phrase about a month and a half ago called Gen Z, and really what it is and what he meant is that this new traveler that will emerge from COVID is a combination of all of the generations that we used to know. Mm-hmm. And they are going to be very nuanced in terms of how they travel, where they travel, what choices they make when travel, the places they choose to go are going to be based on, how safe it is. They're going to be so much more aware and be cognizant of their environment, because that's what this pandemic has caused us to be. It has caused us to be more aware of our surroundings, social distancing, hand sanitizing, trying to ensure that you enjoy yourself, but at the same time you are able to remain safe and healthy. So it's a different market, it's a different world, and so we have to begin to nuance our own space to accommodate that Gen Z travel, and we look forward to welcoming them when they start flying in great numbers again.
Yes, I know. I think we did an article on when Mr. Bartlett did talk about Gen Z, and it was really it was an interesting way to look at it. And we're all Gen Z, I think, if we can.
We are all Gen Z right now. Correct.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we go out to about 100,000 travel advisors here in the U.S. How have you been working with them specifically to get them ready to really start booking Jamaica? And some may already be booking Jamaica. What programs do you have in place, or what are you developing to help advisors sell your country better?
That has been the other layer of the engagement that we have maintained all throughout. We've kept our travel agents engaged with webinars. Almost every 2 weeks, we create a webinar, whether it's a destination webinar or a subject webinar about travel. Because we have a large travel professional group. We call it Jamaica Travel Specialists. They are specially trained on selling Jamaica. Numbers about 32,000. And what we've been able to do is to continue to engage with them, to continue to share with them, provide them with information. We developed, for example, a bulletin, a product bulletin on Jamaica, which whenever something changed right throughout the lockdown period, we would send a bulletin out to all our travel professionals. So they were always on the cutting edge of having information from Jamaica as what was going on, so that they could continually, when asked by their clients what's happening, in Jamaica, they always had information and they could always, respond. that has resulted in a tremendous amount of residual bookings that have remained on the GDS for Jamaica that was there from last year. Persons who had booked to travel this year in Jamaica have kept their bookings. We have a residual value right now of about 60% of our bookings are still on the books. And so what has happened is that persons have kept shifting them out depending on when borders open, based on where their bookings were originally and so on. So we feel, and that has a lot to do with the travel agent community and the travel professional community, because they have remained, as we have engaged them, they have remained engaged with their clients, and their clients have, with information, have been able to make a decision in terms of holding some of their bookings in place. We feel very confident about that, and about the fact that because we have remained so close to them and kept them alive and well with information, that will serve us well going into later this year and certainly into next year.
Now, are there any kind of new tourism products or attractions in Jamaica that travel advisors should be aware of and get excited about selling the destination this year? Is there anything new that you want to highlight?
The new, I would say, we are still on the path of building new hotel properties that had started pre-COVID. Those projects are still alive and well. H10 is completing its additional set of rooms to get its total up to 1,000. Princess Hotel is getting ready to break ground. Charisma has already broken ground at its property in St. Anne. What we have seen is that a number of our hotel products have gone into enclave during the lockdown in terms of cleaning, sanitizing, refreshing aspects of their product to make it new and fresh and look different when visitors begin to arrive again. So there's been even though there's been lockdown and there's been economic tightening right around us, our investors have seen the need to continue to make their products nuanced to the new traveler. The protocols have dictated that there are a number of changes that were required, and that required investment, which they have made and have made themselves ready to open at this time and to welcome visitors. So I think we're sitting in a really great place with our product. We always had a great product to begin with. And so what you'll see coming out a lot of in our marketing and our communication is our going deeper and providing more visibility to some of the natural beauty and natural attraction to Jamaica that often gets missed. As I like to say, it is Jamaica beyond the beaches. We are really looking to hardening our communication and our marketing around those experiences so that travelers have yet more reasons to choose Jamaica when they choose to travel.
Any other messages you want to get out to the market, to travel advisors or even the traveling public about what's going on in Jamaica right now?
I want our travel partners and our travel advisors to know that we are extremely serious about this health pandemic. And whilst we understand that there's always going to be reservations about the early restart of the industry, we also understand that persons are looking for opportunities to travel at this time, and we want to reassure them that the processes that we've put in place and the protocols that we have implemented are geared to provide a level of safety for every traveler coming into Jamaica, but more importantly, it is designed to be responsible to the Jamaican people as well. And so we ask that every traveler coming in respect the processes that we've put in, follow them diligently, follow the guidance and advice of all of our in destination advisors. And once you do that, you should have a great time within the destination corridors that have also been devised, and have a great time and tell everyone about it, because we know you'll have fun.
Well, I've been to Jamaica many times. I've always enjoyed my visits. Can't wait to get back. It's sort of very strange not have been able to travel anywhere, and Jamaica in particular. Donovan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about what's going on with Jamaica now as it really starts to open up. And I'm so glad to hear that as long as I test negative, I can go down and have a great time. And even if I test positive, I guess I can just self-isolate in a nice resort, right? So there's worse things in the world, I guess. I just have to be there for a while. But
there's absolutely worse things in the world.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Great to talk to you as always.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.